I told you to go give him food, not to sleep with him. What was I even thinking?
You've been happy for a long time, not minding if I'm happy or not, and he is cute too.
What?
But he is my boyfriend.
Not anymore. We're getting married soon.
My best friend wasn't just my sister. She was my shadow. I told her everything, especially how my man, Michael, was a king in the streets and a god between the sheets. I thought I was bragging to a friend. I didn't know I was giving her the blueprint to steal my life. The day I asked her, "Chitty, please help me take this food to my husband," I handed her the key to my own cage. Now, I'm watching her walk down the aisle in my wedding dress, with my man, and the worst part? She learned how to love him. From me. The first time I saw Chitty and Michael standing together, something shifted in my chest. It wasn't a dramatic crack, not the sound of a heart breaking, but more like the subtle, sickening slide of a tectonic plate deep beneath the Earth's surface. You don't feel it immediately, but you know, on some primal level, that the ground you're standing on will never be steady again. They were at the altar. Chitty, my best friend since the age of 10, was radiant in a lace and pearl gown that we had spent months choosing together. And Michael, my Michael, the man I had planned a future with for 3 years, was looking at her like she was the oxygen his lungs had been searching for their whole life. The pastor was just concluding, "You may kiss your bride." My hands, clammy and cold, were clenched so tight in my lap that my newly done nails were cutting into my palms. The usher who had led me to this corner seat, thinking she was doing a latecomer a favor, had no idea she had just given the jilted ex-lover a front-row seat to her own nightmare. The woman beside me sniffled, overcome by the beautiful love. I wanted to scream until my throat bled. Love? This wasn't love. This was a heist. And I had been the one to hand over the keys to the vault. To understand how I ended up as a spectator at the wedding of my man and my best friend, you have to go back. Way back to the beginning of the bragging, the jealousy, and the fateful pot of jollof rice. My name is Bisola. Not the most unique name in Lagos, I know. But for Michael, I was the one and only. Or so I thought. I met Michael at a mutual friend's barbecue in Lekki. He was tall, the kind of tall that makes you feel safe just standing next to him. He had a smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes and a deep, rumbling laugh that vibrated right through you. He was an architect, which was just a fancy way of saying he was a hopeless romantic who could draw. He'd sketch little doodles of me on napkins when we went out to eat. He was attentive, successful, and came from a good family in Enugu. I, of course, had to tell my best friend, Chitty. Chitty and I were the classic Lagos sister girls. We met in primary school when she moved into the flat below my grandma's place in Surulere. We had been through everything together. The terror of common entrance exams, the heartbreak of first crushes, the chaos of university in Benin, and the cutthroat job hunt in Lagos. She was my ride or die, the first person I called when I got the job at the bank, and the one who held my hair back when I drank too much at Club Quillox. Chitty was different from me. I was more outgoing, louder, the one to start a conversation with a stranger. Chitty was quieter, more observant. She had a sharp, analytical mind and a dry sense of humor that could cut you down to size in a second. She was also stunning, with high cheekbones that looked carved by an artist and a complexion like smooth, dark caramel. But she was perpetually unlucky in love. Her boyfriends were either too boring, or too attached to their mothers. I always felt a little guilty about my happiness, so I shared it all with her, hoping to bring her along for the ride. And share I did, especially at the beginning of my relationship with Michael. Chitty, this man, I'd gush, perched on her bed in her Oberlin studio apartment, a bowl of groundnuts between us. You know how most of these Lagos boys are all show and no action? Michael is different. He is a complete gentleman. He opens the car door for me, he remembers I don't like too much sugar in my tea, and Chitty, the things he whispers in my ear? Hyin'. My spine no day straight. Chitty would smile, that small, knowing smile of hers, and pop a groundnut into her mouth. You're just lucky, B. Make sure you hold on to him, oh. As the relationship progressed, so did my revelations. I was a woman in love, and I wanted my sister to know the full scope of my joy. The topic of intimacy is a sacred one between best friends, a vault of secrets and laughter. And Michael had broken the vault wide open. One afternoon, we were at a salon in Yaba, the sound of hairdryers creating a white noise around us. We were both getting our braids done. "Chitty, I have to tell you something," I whispered, leaning in as much as my half-braided hair would allow. "What again?" she asked, her eyes on her phone. "My Michael," I said, a sly grin spreading across my face. "That man is a magician in the bedroom. No, not magician. God. He is a god." Chitty finally looked up, a flicker of something unreadable in her eyes. "Bisola, a beg. Don't start." "I'm serious," I insisted, my voice low but fervent. "He is so caring. It's not just the main thing. It's everything. He knows how to touch me, Chitty. He knows the exact spots. He pays attention. And after, he doesn't just roll over and sleep. He holds me. He talks to me. He makes me feel like the most precious person in the world." My last boyfriend, that shameless boy, would finish and start checking his phone. Michael makes love." I saw her jaw tighten for a fraction of a second. She looked away, focusing on the braider attacking her scalp. "You're lucky," she said again, her voice a little flatter this time. I mistook her quietness for vicarious happiness. I didn't see the seed of envy being planted and watered with every story I told. I told her about the surprise bouquets he sent to my office, making my colleagues green with envy. I told her about the time I was sick and he drove from Lekki to Suralere at 2 a.m. just to bring me medicine. I painted a picture of a man so perfect, so attentive, so caring, that he seemed like a figment of a lonely woman's imagination. And Chitty, who was nursing her own wounds from a man who had stood her up for the third time that week, was listening. She was filing away every detail. She was learning the blueprint to Michael's heart. I remember one evening vividly. The three of us were having drinks at a rooftop bar in Victoria Island. The Lego skyline was twinkling. A cool breeze was providing respite from the day's heat, and life felt perfect. Michael had his arm draped over my chair, his thumb drawing lazy circles on my shoulder. Chitty sat opposite us, nursing a glass of Zobo cocktail. "So, Chitty," Michael asked, ever the gentleman, "Bisola tells me you're a project manager. That must be intense, handling all those people and deadlines." Chitty smiled, a real one this time. "It has its moments, but it's nothing compared to the kind of projects you design, I'm sure. Bisola showed me the renders for that beach house in Ape. It's breathtaking." Michael's face lit up. "Really? You like it? It's a passion project, really." The client wanted something that blends modern luxury with the raw nature of the coastline. They fell into an easy conversation about architecture and design. I was happy, sipping my drink, watching my two favorite people get along. I was proud of my man, proud of my friend. I was the queen, holding court with my king and my lady-in-waiting. I didn't see the way Chitty leaned in a little when Michael spoke. I didn't notice the way her laughter came a little easier at his jokes, or the way her eyes lingered on his hands as he gestured, explaining a concept. That was the night I told Chitty about the food. Michael loved food. It was his primary love language. And I, despite my best efforts, was not a great cook. I could boil yam and make a mean egg sauce, but real Nigerian cooking, the kind that required patience, love, and a heavy hand with the seasoning, that was not my ministry. Chitty, however, was a phenomenal cook. Her mother, a caterer from Imo State, had passed down all the secrets. So I had an idea. A brilliant one, I thought. "Chitty," I called her the next morning, buzzing with excitement. "Oya, get your pots ready. Michael's birthday is on Saturday, and I want to do something special. I want to cook him a real meal, not the usual takeout or my half-baked attempts. I want jollof rice, fried rice, a big pot of pepper soup with fresh fish, and some of that moi you make that melts in your mouth." There was a pause on the other end. "You want to cook all that? B, you know that's my mother's special occasion menu." "I know. That's why I'm calling you. You have to come over and teach me. Please, Chitty. I want it to be perfect. He does so much for me. I want to do this for him." She agreed, of course. She was my best friend. The weekend before his birthday, she spent the entire Saturday in my kitchen. We sweated over steaming pots, arguing over the right amount of curry and thyme, smelling our fingers to test the scent of the fried onions and garlic. It was fun. It was sisterly. She guided my hand as I stirred the jollof rice, ensuring it didn't burn at the bottom. "He's a lucky man, B," she said, tasting the pepper soup from a small spoon. "Not every woman would go through this stress." "It's not stress," I beamed, covered in flour and tomato paste. "It's love. And besides, with a teacher like you, how can I fail?" The food was a success. Michael was blown away. He couldn't believe I had made it all myself. When I confessed that Chitty had been my teacher, he insisted on thanking her personally. He called her, and I heard him praising the amazing flavors and how I was a student of a true master. The appreciation in his voice was genuine. Too genuine in retrospect. Over the next few weeks, Chitty started asking more questions about Michael. It was subtle at first. "So, B, Michael said he's from Enugu, right? Is he the first son?" she asked one day. "Yes-o. He has the whole weight of his family on his shoulders. But he handles it well." That means he values responsibility, and family, and loyalty," she mused, more to herself than to me. Another time, "He works such long hours. How does he de-stress?" "He loves his football, and he loves food. I told you, the way to that man's heart is through his stomach. After a long day, if he comes home to a good hot meal, all his stress melts away. It's his ultimate comfort." She nodded, a thoughtful look on her face. I was oblivious. I thought she was just being a caring friend, learning about the important man in my life. In reality, she was completing her research. She was building the final piece of her strategy. Then the fateful day arrived. It was a Tuesday, one of those chaotic Lagos Tuesdays where everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I was swamped at the bank. We had an auditor visiting, and my desk was a mountain of files. My phone buzzed. It was Michael. "Baby," he said, his voice tired. "I'm swamped here. The site supervisors are driving me crazy. I don't think I'll be able to leave the office until late." My heart sank. I had planned to leave work early, go home, and cook him a nice dinner to cheer him up. But with the auditor here, there was no way. "I'm so sorry, baby. I'm stuck too. This auditor won't let us breathe." "It's fine, love. Don't worry. I'll just grab something on the way home," he said. But I could hear the disappointment. Food was his comfort, and he wasn't going to get it. An idea, what I thought was a brilliant, life-saving idea, struck me. Chitty. Chitty lived close to his office in Ikoyi, and she had told me she was working from home today. "Babe, hold on," I said, putting him on hold. I quickly dialed Chitty's number. "Hey, B," she answered, her voice bright. "Chitty, my love, my sister, my savior. I need a huge, enormous, massive favor. N? Talk your own. What's wrong?" "It's Michael. He's stuck at work, tired and stressed, and I'm stuck here with this auditor. I can't leave. I was going to cook for him, but I can't. Please, I have some leftover jollof rice and chicken from Sunday in my fridge. The one you helped me make. And I made a fresh pot of egusi soup last night. Could you please, for the love of God, pack some up and take it to his office for me? It's not far from your place. Just a small delivery. I'll owe you my life." There was a silence on the line. It lasted maybe 2 seconds, but in hindsight, it felt like an eternity, pregnant with unspoken intent. "For Michael?" she asked, her voice slow and deliberate. "Yes, oh, my Michael. Please, Chitty. You're the only one I can trust with this. You know how much he loves your cooking. Well, our cooking. Please just drop it off for him. It will mean the world to him and to me." "Okay, B," she said, her voice back to its normal, helpful tone. "Don't worry. Send me his office address. I'll go and take care of it." I sighed with relief. "Thank you. Thank you. You're the best friend in the whole world. I'll transfer money for your transport now." "Don't worry about the transport," she said. "Just focus on your work. I'll handle it." I hung up and called Michael back. Baby, cheer up. Relief is on the way. I can't come, but I'm sending a delivery. Just wait for it. A delivery? From where? He asked, amused. You'll see. Just eat it and think of me. I love you. I love you too, B. I went back to my files, feeling like a superhero. I had saved the day. I had used my resources, my best friend, to take care of my man. It was a win-win. I imagined the scene. Chitty would arrive at his office, hand over the food with a smile, exchange a few pleasantries, and leave. Michael would eat the delicious food. His stress would vanish, and he'd call me later to thank me profusely. I would be the thoughtful, caring girlfriend, and Chitty would be the amazing, reliable best friend. I was so wrong. What I didn't know, what I couldn't have imagined, was the scene that actually played out. Chitty didn't just pack some food. She went home and she went to war in her kitchen. She spent over an hour preparing a fresh meal. Not just jollof rice and chicken. She made a feast. She made the perfect, smoky, party-style jollof rice. She made a creamy, vegetable-rich stew with tender chunks of beef and goat meat. She made a fresh salad with a tangy dressing. She fried some plantains to golden, caramelized perfection. She packed it all beautifully in warm, insulated food flasks, not the cheap plastic bags I used. She took a long shower. She put on a stylish but not too obvious fitted gown that hugged her curves. She did her makeup flawlessly, the no-makeup look that took an hour to perfect. She sprayed on her most expensive perfume. Then she went to his office. Michael was surprised when he saw her. Chitty? Wow. Bisola said she was sending a delivery, but I didn't expect the chef herself. She laughed, that light, musical laugh. Ah, Michael, you think I would trust a bike man with this precious cargo? When Bisola said you were stressed and hungry, I had to come personally. I know how much a good meal means to you. She unpacked the food in his office, laying it out on his meeting table like she was setting a romantic dinner for two. The aroma filled the room. Wayo, Michael breathed, his eyes wide. This is a feast. Chitty, you didn't have to go to all this trouble. Bisola said there was leftover food in the fridge. Leftovers, Chitty said with a mock-offended look. For a man who works as hard as you? Never. A man who provides for his woman deserves a meal made with fresh love and fresh ingredients. Please sit, eat. Don't let it get cold. He sat and he ate. And as he ate, he sang her praises. Chitty, this stew is incredible. The flavor is so rich. How do you get your jollof to have this perfect smoky taste? My mother makes plantains like this, but yours are even better. Chitty just smiled, sitting across from him, watching him enjoy her food. She engaged him in conversation. But this time it wasn't about Bisola. It was about him. She asked about the challenges of his current project, his dreams for his own architectural firm, the pressure of being the first son. She listened. She didn't just hear his words. She absorbed them. She made him feel seen, heard, and deeply appreciated. She provided comfort, not just through the food, but through her undivided, focused attention. By the time he finished eating, he was looking at her differently. The lines of stress on his face were gone, replaced by a relaxed, contented expression. He leaned back in his chair. Chitty, he said, his voice soft. Thank you. I don't know when someone last took care of me like this. Bisola is lucky to have a friend like you. I'm lucky to have you in our lives. She looked down, a modest smile playing on her lips. It's nothing, really. I like taking care of people. It's how I show I care. She stood up to leave, and he walked her to the elevator. As the doors slid open, she turned to him. Michael, if you ever need another proper meal, and Bisola is busy, you know where to find me. I work from home most Tuesdays and Thursdays. The elevator doors closed, leaving Michael staring at his own reflection, a thoughtful, confused look on his face. That was the beginning of the end. Chitty didn't just deliver food that day. She delivered a message. She delivered a challenge. She had shown Michael a version of care and attention that I, in my busy, career-focused life, had failed to provide consistently. I talked about love. She showed him what felt like a deeper, more tangible version of it, all wrapped in the irresistible aroma of a perfect home-cooked meal. From that day on, things shifted. Michael started mentioning Chitty more often. Chitty has such a good head on her shoulders. Chitty was telling me about this new project management software. It sounds useful. Chitty sent me a meme today. It was actually funny. I was just happy they were getting along. I encouraged it. Isn't she great? That's my bestie. Then the accidental meetings began. I would suggest we all go out, and Chitty would suddenly be free. Michael would suggest a movie I didn't want to see, and Chitty would chime in, "Oh, I've been wanting to see that one. Bisola, you don't mind if I steal him for one evening? A beg? We can all go together next time." And I, the trusting fool, would say, "Of course. Go have fun." They were building a private world, brick by brick, on the foundation of my trust and my bragging. She was using everything I had told her. She knew his favorite foods, his stressors, his dreams, his love language. She wasn't competing with me on my terms. She was becoming the woman I had told her he wanted. The discovery was brutal. It wasn't a dramatic walk-in. It was a slow, sickening digital bleed. Michael became distant. His calls were shorter. His texts became sporadic. He was always tired. The passion I had bragged about so proudly evaporated. He stopped reaching for me in bed. When I tried to initiate, he'd claim a headache or say he was too exhausted. My confidence, once sky-high, began to crumble. I started doubting myself. Was I not pretty enough anymore? Was I not doing enough? I tried to cook more, but my attempts felt hollow. I tried to be more attentive, but I didn't even know what he needed anymore. He had built a wall and I was on the outside. One evening, he fell asleep on the couch, and his phone buzzed. A WhatsApp message flashed on the screen. The sender's name was Chitty. The preview read, "Last night was perfect. I can still feel your hands on my skin. When can I see you again? XX." The world stopped. My blood turned to ice. My heart, which I thought was beating normally, slammed to a halt before restarting in a frantic, painful rhythm. I stared at the words until they blurred. Last night was perfect. He had been with me last night. He had come home late, claimed he'd eaten at a works dinner, and gone straight to sleep. He hadn't touched me. He had been with her. I didn't scream. I didn't wake him. I just stood there, numb as the final piece of the puzzle clicked. I didn't scream. I didn't wake him. I just stood there, numb, as the final piece of the puzzle clicked into place. The food delivery, the accidental meetings, the praises, the distance, the loss of intimacy. It was a full-scale takeover, and I had been the project manager of my own demolition. The confrontation was ugly. Michael didn't even try to deny it. He sat there, looking at me with a mixture of guilt and defiance. "It just happened, Bisola," he said, his voice infuriatingly calm. "It just happened?" I shrieked. 3 years, Michael. 3 years of I love yous and you're the ones, and it just happened with my best friend? The woman I sent to bring you food because I was worried about you. She understands me, B, he said, and that cut deeper than anything else. She sees me. She knows what I need without me having to say it. I laughed, a bitter, broken sound. She knows what you need? I told her, you fool. Every single thing you like. Every single thing that makes you tick. Every single way to please you. I told her. I gave her the manual to you on a platter of gold. And she used it to steal you. She didn't understand you. She studied you. From me. My conversation with Chitty was even worse. I went to her apartment, ready for a fight. She opened the door, and she looked serene. There was no guilt in her eyes. No shame. Just a calm, almost pitying look. Bisola, she said, her voice soft, the way you talk to a child who was upset. Don't Bisola me, I screamed, pushing past her into the flat that held decades of our memories. How could you, Chitty? How could you do this to me? We are sisters. You were my sister. She closed the door and leaned against it, folding her arms. Were we, B? Or was I just your audience? What? The question threw me. You talked and talked and talked about Michael, about how perfect he was, about how amazing he was in bed, about how much he cared for you. You didn't talk to me, you talked at me. You showed off your happiness like a new handbag, right in front of my face, while I was going through heartbreak after heartbreak. You never once asked if it hurt me to hear it. You just assumed I'd be happy for you, basking in your reflected glory. I was stunned. So this is my fault? Because I was happy and I shared my happiness with you? You didn't share your happiness, B. You flaunted it. You described the intimacy you had with him in detail, like I was some kind of pervert who got off on your stories. You painted a picture of a man so perfect, and then you handed me the brush. You asked me to teach you how to feed him. You asked me to go and comfort him. You did everything but gift wrap him and put a bow on his head. What did you expect would happen? I expected my best friend to be my best friend. I screamed, tears now streaming down my face. And I got tired of being the supporting act in the Bisola and Michael show. She shot back, her voice finally rising. I wanted a leading role for once, and I took it. I'm sorry it hurts you, but I'm not sorry for finding happiness. You should understand that better than anyone. I left her apartment that day with my world in ashes. My best friend was gone, replaced by a cold, calculating stranger. My man was gone, seduced by a carefully crafted illusion of perfection. The wedding invitation arrived 3 months later. A beautiful cream-colored card with gold embossing. Felt like a slap, a mocking taunt. They wanted me to witness their love. My friends were outraged. Don't go, they said. Tear it up. Forget them. But I had to go. I didn't know why at first. Maybe it was for closure. Maybe it was a masochistic need to see the full extent of my destruction. Or maybe, just maybe, a tiny, foolish part of me thought Michael would see me, remember what we had, and call it all off. So here I am, sitting in this corner seat watching them. The music swells. They kiss. The small crowd erupts in cheers. Chitty turns to the congregation, her face glowing with a radiant, triumphant smile. And as she turns, her eyes scan the crowd and land on me, sitting alone in the corner. For a split second, her smile falters. Her eyes meet mine, and in that silent exchange, 1,000 words are spoken. There's a flicker of something there. Not guilt, not shame. Just a flicker of acknowledgement. A silent, I won. I don't break down. I don't cause a scene. I just sit there, my hands frozen in my lap, and I watch the man I loved promise his life to the woman I trusted. I hear the cheers, the ululations, the cries of congratulations. I hear the pastor pronounce them Mr. and Mrs. Michael Okonkwo. And as they walk back down the aisle, hand in hand, Chitty in my dream dress and Michael beaming with a happiness he once reserved for me, a strange, cold clarity settles over me. This wasn't just a betrayal. It was a lesson, a brutally expensive, soul-crushing lesson in the danger of oversharing, the quiet power of envy, and the blinding nature of trust. I had praised my man so loudly that I attracted a predator. I had painted a target on my own back and then handed my best friend the weapon. The wedding party streams out, heading for the reception. I remain seated, the last guest in the emptying church. The usher who seated me gives me a curious, concerned look. I finally stand up, my legs shaky. I walk out of the church and into the harsh Lagos sun. I don't look back. I don't cry. Not yet. The tears will come later, in the quiet of my empty apartment, where the ghosts of my bragging and their betrayal will haunt me. But for now, I just walk, one foot in front of the other. Away from the church, away from the life I thought I had, away from the friend who learned to love my man, by listening to me tell her how. I walk out of the church gates and the irony of the Lagos sun hits me like a physical force. It is blazing, unapologetic, indifferent to the ice in my veins. Life goes on. The danfos still honk. The street vendors still call out their wares, pure water, pure water. And somewhere in the distance, the wedding reception they are heading to will be filled with laughter, money spraying, and enough food to feed a small village. None of it includes me. I make it to the main road before my phone starts buzzing. At first, I think it's just the vibration of my bag against my hip, but it persists, insistent and annoying. I pull it out. The screen is flooded with notifications. Missed calls, WhatsApp messages, Instagram tags. My social media is exploding. People are tagging me in stories from the wedding. I see a video of their first dance. Chitty's head is on his chest, his arms wrapped around her possessively. The caption reads, "True love finally found its home. Hashtag Chitty and Michael 2024". True love. I almost laugh. I almost scream. Instead, I block every single person who posted it. I can't deal with digital sympathy right now. I can't deal with the "Bisola, are you okay?" messages that will inevitably follow from people who know the history. I switch off my phone and shove it back into my bag. I don't know where I'm walking to. My legs are on autopilot. I pass by a small buka, the ones with the wooden benches and the kerosene stove hissing in the corner. The smell of frying plantain wafts out, and my stomach turns. Food. The very thing that started this whole catastrophe. If I had just let Michael buy his own dinner that day. If I had just told him, "Sorry, baby. Figure it out." If I had not been so eager to play the perfect girlfriend using my friend's skills. So many ifs. A hand touches my shoulder and I flinch so hard I nearly stumble off the pavement. "Bisola? Bisola? Is that you?" I turn. It's Auntie Pat, my mother's younger sister. She lives in Canada now, but here she is, standing in front of me in Lagos, dressed in a stunning bubu and looking at me with concern. "Auntie," I manage to whisper. My voice sounds like it belongs to someone else. "Bisola, what are you doing here?" "I just came from the church." She stops herself, her eyes widening as realization dawns. "Oh, my dear. Oh, no. So she was at the wedding." Of course. Chitty's mother and Auntie Pat move in the same church circles. The betrayal has tentacles I haven't even discovered yet. "Come," she says firmly, taking my arm. "You're coming with me. You're not walking alone in this state." She leads me to where her driver is waiting in a Toyota Corolla. I slide into the back seat, grateful for the air conditioning, grateful for the silence, grateful for Auntie Pat's wisdom in not asking questions. She just holds my hand as the car maneuvers through Lagos traffic, heading nowhere in particular. "Take us to Pertia Hotel," she tells the driver finally. "We need somewhere quiet." At the hotel, she books a room, buys me a bottle of water, and sits me down on the edge of the bed. Only then does she speak. "I saw you sitting alone in the church. My heart broke for you. What happened, Bisola? I thought you and Michael were together. The last time your mother called me, she was talking about wedding plans." I take a long sip of water. The cool liquid does nothing to quench the fire in my chest. "He's with Chitty now, Auntie. My best friend. They're married." Auntie Pat's face twists in confusion. "Chitty? The quiet one? The one who always came to your house for holidays? But how? When?" I tell her everything. I start from the beginning, from the first time I met Michael at the barbecue, through all the months of bragging, the cooking lessons, the food delivery, the gradual erosion of my relationship, and the final, devastating discovery. I leave nothing out. I tell her about the WhatsApp message I saw, about Chitty's cold confession in her apartment, about sitting in that church watching them exchange vows. By the time I finish, Auntie Pat is crying. I'm not. I think I've used up all my tears. Or maybe they're saving themselves for later. For the middle of the night when I'm alone and the reality of my empty bed hits me. "My dear," Auntie Pat says, dabbing her eyes with a tissue, "this is a hard lesson. A very hard lesson. But you will survive it. Women like us, we survive." "Survive for what?" I ask bitterly. "To watch everyone else get what I wanted? To be the fool who taught her friend how to steal her man?" Auntie Pat shakes her head. "You didn't teach her to steal. You taught her what you thought was love. But here's the thing about love, Bisola. If it can be stolen, it was never really yours. A real man, a man with integrity, would not have been swayed by a plate of food and a pretty face. He would have remembered who was by his side for 3 years. He would have remembered who bragged about him to everyone, who defended him, who saw a future with him. Michael forgot. That's on him, not on you. Her words are comforting, but they don't fully land. The wound is too fresh, too raw. Right now, all I feel is the sting of betrayal and the humiliation of being outsmarted in my own game. Auntie Pat stays with me for a few hours. She orders food from room service and makes me eat. She prays with me, her Igbo prayers rising and falling like waves, calling down fire on every enemy of my destiny. I appreciate it, even though I'm not sure what I believe anymore. When she finally leaves, promising to check on me tomorrow, I'm left alone in the hotel room with my thoughts. The night is the hardest. I lie in the dark, staring at the ceiling, and my mind plays a cruel slideshow of memories. Michael and I at Tarqua Bay, him slathering sunscreen on my back. Michael surprising me with tickets to see Burna Boy live. Michael whispering in my ear that I was the best thing that ever happened to him. And then, the images shift. Michael and Chitty at the altar. Michael kissing her. Michael sliding a ring onto her finger. The ring I had helped him pick out for a client who needed advice. I sit up abruptly, a new thought slamming into me. The ring. The engagement ring. He had taken me to that jewelry store in 6, asked my opinion on diamond cuts and bandwidths. He said it was for a client who wanted something unique for his fiancée. I spent an hour helping him choose, picking out the perfect cushion-cut diamond with a halo of smaller stones. I was so proud of my expertise. I even texted Chitty about it afterwards, telling her about the beautiful ring I had helped pick. "Oh, that's so romantic of the client," she had replied. Imagine surprising your woman with a ring she helped choose without knowing. I throw my pillow across the room. The rage is back, hot and suffocating. She knew. She probably knew the whole time. He was probably showing her the ring behind my back, laughing at how I was helping them plan their future. I don't sleep that night. When dawn breaks, I make a decision. I'm not going to slink away in shame. I'm not going to hide. I'm going to go back to my apartment, pack up my life, and figure out the next chapter. But first, I'm going to do something I should have done a long time ago. I'm going to thank Chitty. Not sincerely, of course, but I'm going to show up at her wedding reception, look her in the eye, and let her know that she didn't break me, that I see her for what she is, that the victory she thinks she has won is hollow. I shower, put on the only decent dress I have with me, a simple black shift I had packed in case I needed to look professional for something, and call an Uber. The reception is being held at a fancy hall in Acacia. I know because the invitation is burned into my memory. When I arrive, the party is in full swing. Music is blasting, people are on the dance floor, and the air is thick with the smell of fried rice, grilled fish, and expensive perfume. I walk in like I belong there, like I'm just another guest who got delayed. A few people do double takes when they see me. Whispers start. I ignore them. I spot the high table. Michael and Chitty are seated on ornate golden chairs, looking every inch the happy couple. Chitty has changed into a second outfit, a gorgeous yellow gelly that makes her look like a queen. Michael is feeding her cake. The gesture is so intimate, so nauseatingly sweet, that I have to take a deep breath to steady myself. I walk towards them. The whispers grow louder. Someone tries to intercept me. A cousin of Chitty's I recognize, but I sidestep her smoothly. I reach the edge of the high table just as Michael is licking icing off his finger. He sees me first. His face goes pale. He freezes, the fork halfway to his mouth. Chitty follows his gaze and her smile wavers. For a moment, just a moment, I see a flash of fear in her eyes. "Good. Bisola," Michael says, his voice strangled. "What are you?" I hold up a hand to silence him. My eyes are fixed on Chitty. "I'm not here to cause a scene," I say, my voice steady and loud enough for the people at the nearby tables to hear. "I just came to say something to my former best friend." Chitty straightens her spine, the mask of the gracious bride sliding back into place. "Say what you have to say, Bisola, but make it quick. This is my day." "Your day?" I repeat, and I let out a small, humorless laugh. "You're right. It is your day. The day you finally got everything you wanted. The man, the ring, the wedding. I just want to thank you, Chitty. Confusion flickers across her face. Michael looks like he wants the floor to open up and swallow him. Thank you for showing me exactly who you are. I continue. For 3 years, I called you sister. I trusted you with my deepest secrets, my happiest moments, my fears. I told you about Michael because I thought we were sharing our lives. But you weren't sharing. You were collecting. You were taking notes. You were waiting for your moment. Chitty's eyes narrow. Bisola, this is not the place. No, let me finish. I say, my voice rising just enough to command attention. The music seems to fade. More people are turning to watch. You used everything I told you. Every detail about what he likes, what he needs, how to please him. You weaponized my trust and aimed it at my heart. And you know what the saddest part is? You think you've won something valuable. I turn to Michael now. He looks small, diminished, nothing like the king I once described to Chitty. And you, I say to him, you were supposed to be the love of my life. I bragged about you because I genuinely believed you were different. But you're not. You're just a man. A man who can be bought with a good meal and a pretty face. A man who doesn't know the difference between love and convenience. Michael opens his mouth, but no words come out. Chitty stands up, her face flushed with anger. That's enough, Bisola. Security, she calls out. 2 burly men in black shirts start moving towards me. I hold my ground. I'm leaving, I say. But before I go, I want you to know something, Chitty. You won a man, but you lost a sister. And one day, when he gets bored of your cooking and finds someone else who understands him better, you'll remember this moment. You'll remember that you built your happiness on a foundation of sand. And sand shifts. I turn on my heel and walk away before the security can reach me. The last thing I hear is Chitty's strained voice telling everyone to get back to the celebration. Nothing to see here. But they saw. They all saw. The weeks that follow are a blur of pain and reconstruction. I move out of the apartment Michael and I shared. It's a tedious process, packing up 3 years of memories into cardboard boxes. Every item has a story. The coffee mugs we bought together at ShopRite. The framed photo of us at his sister's wedding. The throw pillows I spent hours choosing to match his favorite colors. I donate most of it. I can't bear to look at any of it. My mother calls every day, sometimes twice a day. She's furious, heartbroken, and determined to see me through this. Bisola, my daughter, don't let this break you, she says in our nightly phone calls. A man who leaves is a man who was never meant to stay. God is saving you for something better. I want to believe her. I do. But the nights are long and lonely, and the questions keep coming. Was I too loud? Too trusting? Too blinded by my own happiness to see the danger right in front of me? I throw myself into work. The bank is demanding, and I welcome the distraction. I stay late, take on extra projects, volunteer for the tasks no one else wants. My colleagues notice the change. Some ask if I'm okay. I give them a tight smile and say I'm fine. They don't push. One evening, about 2 months after the wedding, I'm leaving the office when I see a familiar figure waiting by the entrance. It's Michael. My heart seizes. For a moment, I'm transported back to a time when seeing him waiting for me would have been the highlight of my day. Now, it just feels like an ambush. He looks different, thinner, tired. The confident, charming architect I once loved has been replaced by a man with dark circles under his eyes and a nervous energy that makes him look shifty. Bisola, he says, stepping forward. Please, just give me 5 minutes. I should walk away. I should ignore him and get in my car. But something, maybe curiosity, maybe the ghost of the love I once felt, makes me stop. Make it quick, I say coldly. He runs a hand through his hair. I know I don't have the right to be here. I know I hurt you in the worst way possible. But Bisola, I need you to know that I made a mistake. A terrible, horrible mistake. I raise an eyebrow. A mistake? You married her, Michael. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. I know, he says, his voice cracking. And I'm paying for it every day. Chitty. She's not who I thought she was. After we got married, the mask came off. She's controlling, jealous, suspicious. She doesn't trust me. She checks my phone, my emails, my call logs. She accuses me of looking at other women. Stop, I interrupt, holding up a hand. I don't want to hear this. Whatever problems you're having in your marriage, they're not my concern. But Bisola, I still love you, he says, and the words hang in the air between us, heavy and absurd. I never stopped. I was confused. I was flattered by her attention. But it was always you. You were the one. I stare at him for a long moment. Then I do something I didn't expect. I laugh. It starts as a small chuckle and builds until I'm doubled over, tears streaming down my face. Michael looks bewildered. What's so funny? You, I manage to say between laughs. You standing here, telling me you love me, after you married my best friend. After you let me sit in that church and watch you pledge your life to her. After you broke me into a million pieces. And now you're here, complaining that she's controlling? That she doesn't trust you? Of course she doesn't trust you. She knows exactly how she got you. She stole you from me. Why wouldn't she think someone else could steal you from her? Michael's face falls. He opens his mouth to speak. But I'm not done. You made your choice, Michael. You chose the woman who cooked for you over the woman who loved you. You chose the easy comfort of a meal over the hard work of a real relationship. And now you have to live with that choice. Don't come to me looking for sympathy. Don't come to me looking for a second chance. I gave you 3 years of first chances, and you threw them away. Bisola, please. No, I say firmly. This is the last conversation we're ever going to have. I'm going to get in my car and drive away. And if you have any decency left in you, you'll respect my space and never contact me again. Go home to your wife. Fix your marriage. Or don't. But leave me out of it. I walk to my car, my hands shaking as I unlock the door. I don't look back. I get in, start the engine, and drive away, leaving Michael standing alone in the fading Lagos evening. In the rearview mirror, I watch his figure shrink and disappear. And with him, the last remnants of the old Bisola. The trusting Bisola. The naive Bisola. The woman who thought love was enough. A year passes. Then 2. Life, as it always does, moves forward. I get a promotion at the bank. I move to a new apartment in a better neighborhood. One with no memories attached. I start going to therapy, something I never thought I needed, but which turns out to be the best decision I ever made. My therapist, a kind woman named Dr. Amara, helps me untangle the knots of betrayal and self-blame. You didn't cause this, Bisola, she tells me in one session. Chitty's choices were her own. Michael's choices were his own. Your only responsibility is to heal and to learn what you want from future relationships. I learn to trust again, slowly, cautiously. I start dating, but differently this time. I don't rush to tell my friends every detail. I keep some things sacred. I learn that not every joy needs to be shared. Not every intimacy needs to be narrated. Some things are just for me. I reconnect with old friends and make new ones. Women who don't know the whole Chitty saga, who see me for who I am now, not who I was then. I build a community based on genuine connection, not just shared history. One Saturday afternoon, I'm at a cafe in Lekki, reading a book and enjoying the air conditioning, when a woman approaches my table. Bisola. I look up. Takes me a moment to place her. She's older, maybe in her 50s, dressed simply but elegantly. Then it clicks. It's Chitty's mother, Mama Grace. My body tenses. The last time I saw her was at Chitty's wedding, sitting proudly in the front row. But the woman standing before me now looks nothing like that proud mother. She looks tired, worn down, her eyes carrying a weight that wasn't there before. Mama, I say, standing up instinctively. Politeness is ingrained in me, regardless of history. Please, may I sit with you for a moment? She asks. Her voice is soft, almost pleading. I nod, and she slides into the chair across from me. For a long moment, she just looks at me. Then she speaks. I know I'm the last person you want to see, and I don't blame you, but I had to come. I had to apologize. I'm confused. Apologize for what, Mama? You didn't do anything. I raised a daughter who betrayed you, she says, her eyes glistening. I saw the signs, Bisola. When she was growing up, she always wanted what others had. If a friend got a new doll, Chitty couldn't rest until she had one too. If a cousin got a new dress, Chitty would sulk for weeks. I thought it was just childish jealousy, something she would grow out of. But she didn't. And when she set her sights on Michael, I didn't stop her. I didn't warn you. I was blind to what she was becoming. I don't know what to say. I've spent 2 years building walls against the Chitty family, painting them all with the same brush of betrayal. But sitting here, listening to Mama Grace's pain, I feel some of those walls begin to crumble. How is she? I ask, surprising myself. Mama Grace shakes her head. The marriage is not good. Michael, he doesn't trust her, and she doesn't trust him. They fight constantly. She calls me crying, saying he's distant, that he works too late, that he doesn't look at her the way he used to look at you. And I think to myself, my daughter, what did you expect? You built a house on someone else's foundation. Of course it's going to crack. I should feel vindicated. My prediction at the wedding, the one about sand shifting, is coming true. But all I feel is a sad weariness. I'm sorry, Mama. I say quietly, I'm sorry she's hurting, but I can't be part of this. I've moved on. Mama Grace nods, dabbing her eyes with a handkerchief. I know, my dear. I'm not asking you to be. I wanted you to know that I see you. I see the pain my family caused you. And I'm sorry. From the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry. She reaches across the table and takes my hand. I let her. For a moment, we sit there, 2 women connected by a betrayal neither of us caused, finding a strange peace in shared acknowledgement. When she leaves, I sit for a long time, staring out the window at the Lego street. The Danfos honk, the vendors call out, the world spins on. And somewhere in this chaotic city, Chitty is living with the consequences of her choices. Michael is living with his, and I am living with mine. I don't feel victorious. I don't feel vengeful. I just feel free. 5 years after the wedding that broke me, I'm in a very different place. I'm a regional manager at the bank now, with a corner office and a team that respects me. I travel internationally for work, something the old Bisola never imagined. I've dated, loved, and lost again, but this time I survived. I've learned that heartbreak is not the end of the world, just a very painful detour. And then, on a quiet Sunday afternoon, I get a message on Instagram. It's from a name I haven't seen in years. Chitty. My thumb hovers over the notification. Part of me wants to delete it, to preserve the peace I've fought so hard to build. But another part, the curious part, needs to know. I open it. Bisola, I know you have no reason to read this. I know I don't deserve your time or your attention. But I'm writing anyway because I need you to know something. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I spent years convincing myself that what I did was justified, that you deserved it for being so careless with your happiness, that Michael and I were meant to be. But it was all lies I told myself to sleep at night. The truth is, I was jealous. Jealous of your confidence, your joy, your ability to love so openly. I wanted what you had not because I loved Michael, but because I wanted to be you. And in trying to become you, I destroyed us both. Michael and I divorced 2 years ago. It was ugly and painful and exactly what I deserved. He's remarried now to someone else, and I hear he's happy. I'm genuinely glad for him. As for me, I'm in therapy. I'm trying to understand why I hurt the only person who ever truly loved me as a sister. I don't expect your forgiveness. I don't deserve it. I just wanted you to know that I see it now. I see the full weight of what I did. And I'm sorry, Bisola. From the deepest part of my soul, I'm sorry. I read the message 3 times. Then I put my phone down and walked to my window. Outside, Lagos is doing what Lagos does best. Thriving in chaos. The sun is setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. I think about the girl I was, the one who bragged about her man to anyone who would listen. I think about the friend I trusted, the one who used my words as weapons. I think about the man I loved, the one who couldn't see the difference between a performance and the real thing. And I think about forgiveness, not the kind that erases the past or pretends the hurt never happened, but the kind that releases me from carrying the weight of someone else's sin. The kind that says, what you did was terrible, but I'm not going to let it define me forever. Pick up my phone. My fingers type a reply before my brain can stop them. Chitty, I received your message. Took courage to write it, and I appreciate that. I've spent years healing from what happened, and I'm in a good place now. I don't know if we'll ever be friends again, and I'm not ready to find out. But I want you to know that I forgive you. Not for you, but for me. I hope you find the peace you're looking for. B. I hit send before I can overthink it. Then I put my phone on silent, pour myself a glass of wine, and watch the sunset paint my new life in colors of hope. The story of how my best friend stole my man will always be part of me. It's a scar, yes, but scars are just proof that we survived. And I did more than survive. I learned. I grew. I became someone who knows that the loudest love isn't always the deepest, that trust must be earned, not just given, and that the person you need to protect most is sometimes yourself. Chitty got the wedding. She got the man, the ring, the title, but she didn't get the happy ending. Because happy endings aren't built on someone else's foundation. They're built slowly, carefully, with integrity and truth. I'm still building mine, one brick at a time. And for the first time in a long time, I'm excited to see what it looks like when it's done. The end.